ערב טוב לכולם, שמי יוסי בית-יוסף, אני משקיע בנדלן בארץ ובארצות הברית, את רוב הפעילות שלי אני עושה בשנים האחרונות בארצות הברית, ויושב לצידי רוברט שאני ראיין אותו וישאל אותו כמה שאלות על השוק בארצות הברית, ונוכל ללמוד קצת מה קורה היום בארצות הברית, אחרי כל מה ששמענו שקרה במהלך השנים האחרונות. רוברט הוא איש נדלן, הוא פרשן, הוא גורו, הוא כלכלן בטלוויזיה, ב-CNN, הוא כתב את הספר איך זה שהאידיוט הזה עשיר ואני לא, ספר מומלץ ביותר. חבר'ה, תלכו לקרוא, איש משכמו ומעלה, יש מה לשמוע, יש מה ללמוד, בואו נשקיעים לרוברט. היי רוברט,
מה קורה? Good, good, good.
It's a long time no see.
Yeah, not too long, but it was always good to see you.
Yeah, me too. I'm glad to see you. It's not the first time that you're in Israel.
I come a lot, I love it.
You love Israel, you had a lot of connections in Israel, you met a lot of Israelis during your staying in Israel, you teach in Israel real estate students. What do you think about the Israeli investor?
Oh, the Israeli investor is smart. There's a lot of Israelis investing in America right now. You know, as you know, I invest in different parts of the world, but I love the Israelis because I love Israel. But the Israelis are open-minded. They travel. All of them speak 2-3 languages like you. And I've met a lot of Israeli investors who've made a lot of money in Israel, but I've met a lot of Israelis who are doing very well in the United States, all over.
Yeah, great.
And the world.
Yeah, I know that I was in the world also, and they met Israelis all over the places. And, you know, I know you for several years about, and we've done some things together.
Florida, Israel.
We have done some things together. I have my own team in Michigan, in Florida, in Miami, that are working for me. And I'm what we're calling active investor.
Very active.
I'm active, I'm doing things, I'm doing research, I'm looking for places, I buy, sell, etc. But there are also other kind of investors,
right,
which I call them the passive investors. And the passive investor, when I talk with them, they're afraid, they don't know what to do, they say it's too far, it's too dangerous, it's too risky.
It's funny, I've heard that about Israel.
Too
far, too dangerous, and I feel very safe here, I love it.
What should they tell them?
Well, first of all, I think all fears are irrational. The reason they're scared, just like me, I'm American. I was scared to invest in America, 2 kilometers away from where I live, because it was new. It was different. I'd never have done it. Anytime it's new, it's scary. Number 2, I always tell people, if there's $50,000 or $100,000 in a bucket or a box, and I say, listen, it's in Detroit. I'll tell you where it is, and it's there for sure. I think most Israelis would, even if they're passive, would send someone if they're to fly there and pick up the box with the 50,000, or they'd go there. And I say that's the same with real estate and investing. What's the difference with Skype, with the internet, with they can see the property, they can understand it, and just like they became an expert here in Israel or Haifa or Herzliya, you or they can become an expert very quickly in Florida, Detroit, wherever you want. It's the same.
So in other words, if I want to convince those investors to come to invest, the best way for me is to show them videos, pictures, to put them into internet sites, to show them all the facts, all the details,
right.
And that will be the break.
Right. Just like they're comfortable with the market here in Israel because they see the area, they see what things are selling for, they know it. You'll educate them like you do and show them, here's this area, here's this neighborhood, here's what's going on. What's also interesting about investing, they see what you're doing and see the market, they can become comfortable in that market just like this market, this area, as soon as they educate themselves.
So just show them same, give them the secure, that everything is okay.
Here's what things are going for. But to mention the currency, the Israelis who have invested in America in the last maybe 6-8 months, the currency has gone up, 15-20%. The dollar against the shekel. Right. So an Israeli has an advantage over me. They made an extra 15%, 15-20% without doing anything, just the currency.
Right. But at least I have another question. Where we, in the last 4-5 last years, the market was raised up a lot.
Yes.
So since the crisis. So do you think that maybe now it's the windows of opportunities is shutting down?
No. There's always a deal, there's always a window, and America's not one market. America's 50 states. In every state there's different cities. And the first places that went up the most, for instance, Las Vegas, Phoenix, South Florida, then they went down the most 7, 8 years ago. Now they've come back quicker. Other markets are behind. They didn't come down as quickly. They came down a few years after the crisis. Now they're coming back. So there's still a lot of opportunities, like you know what you're looking at. The secondary markets, LA, Phoenix, Vegas, Miami, yeah, they've come back a lot, but now the other places.
If I had to ask you what are the most 5 cities that are best to invest now in the States, what did you see?
Well, I think there's a lot of opportunity everywhere because there's always deals and there's markets within markets, but we spend a lot of money on research, economists and PhDs. And generally, the best markets right now, from everyone's agreement, are number 1, Detroit, which was one of the best markets last year in America. Memphis, Indianapolis, parts of South Florida, still parts of Florida, and there's a bunch of other ones.
Yeah, I want to ask you about Detroit because when I was in Detroit three months ago,
Yes.
Michigan, Detroit, and at the same time there was Warren Buffett was interviewed there, and he said to the interviewer that if he had the opportunity to handle all the houses around,
He'd buy every one
then
of
he
them.
was buy everyone in every price.
That's right.
In every price.
Because
So-
he's a long-term investor and he knows long-term, and still in many places in America you can buy a house for less than you can build it or replace it. It makes no sense, and that's what he's a long-term investor like I am.
Right.
And long-term, you're going to do well.
Great. So you think Detroit is a good place to be here?
Yes.
At the moment. And if I'm looking on Detroit, Detroit was suffered a lot from the crisis,
Right.
lost jobs, but I know the
And
government
now it's starting
put
to come back.
But I know the government put a lot of money in Detroit in order to keep the city, and now I know it's going up again. Do you think the best place is to be in Detroit cities or to go to the around which we call Metro Detroit?
Both, you got to be careful. Like any city, there's good neighborhoods and not so good neighborhoods. So you have to know your neighborhood, know your area, do your research. But generally, Detroit, the cash flow is absolutely amazing. You can buy things so inexpensively that are worth more, so you're protected, and the rent is so high compared to what you invest.
Right.
You'll make good money for the long term. But you just have to know your areas. There's great deals in all the areas.
That's what we need to do in
Yeah.
every place,
Exactly.
like you said. Yeah, you know, I read about the Casey Schiller
The Schiller Index? Yes.
Yeah, and the Schiller case index was in 2006 it was 200 points, record for 200 points, and now it's very close to the 200 points. And the people say that if it will raise in the same high as it's going now in these days, then in 2 years it will be the same record as it was in the 2006.
Yes.
So what is the meaning of this?
Well, that, again, people look for an index or market. There is no market. But what people don't realize, the last 6 years in America, our population goes up. Immigration, growth. In the last 6, 7 years, they built almost no houses. I mean, they built a few, but very little. All real estate is, like any business, supply and demand. Demand's been going up. The supply has not increased that much. New homes. So it depends what market. I don't do the indices, I do deals. There's deals in Detroit, there's deals in Indianapolis, there's deals in South Florida. You have to be aware of the market and not overpay, but...
Yeah, but when it was in 2006, when it was 200 points, it was a bubble.
Yeah, it was high. Many markets were
So
high.
now if it will be the same,
Right.
is it say that it's a bubble again, or is it...
No,
the
because
meaning
it's
of it?
been 6, 7, 8 years. The
Right.
markets have changed. A lot more people, a lot more demand. Very little has been built. So you have to look at the supply and demand of that area. So that is not scary. Listen, 7, 8 years ago, a lot of real estate was really cheap in America. Nobody was buying.
Right.
Now it's still fairly cheap in most areas. We're not back to where we were, only in a few places, but we're not back to where we were yet because of those passage of time and the growth.
Okay.
So there's still a lot of room to grow. The other thing is inflation. Interest rates and inflation in America have been almost zero It's unnatural. It's not normal.
Right.
So at some point, you would think.
And that was going now. The Federal Reserve said that they want to increase
Yeah.
the interest.
A little bit.
A little bit. Maybe it will be on the mid of 2015.
Right.
And that means that the markets, the stock markets will raise up.
Which they have been.
And usually when it's happened, then the real estate markets is standing or going down in that cases, usually.
Yeah. But if we have inflation, which we haven't had, then that'll be good for real estate. Interest rates are very low.
So you don't think that there was any something like that will hold a bit the real estate market because of this changes?
We're more stable now. We're not going to have the big jump or the big jump down. I don't think anything can happen. Correct?
Right.
But again, if you're a long-term investor, you're okay. If you're cash flowing, you're okay. With the next year or two, anything can happen.
All right.
But if you're a real estate investor, the rents are coming in, right? You're buying and selling, you're making money. Even our cash flow properties that made money when the market went down, we still made money.
From all I understand, that what you say, it doesn't matter what's the market, all the stories are not interesting, we have to find the good deals and to take the good places for long-term investments.
Right.
So,
I don't do deals, I do markets. And the other thing is there is no market. Which market? Even in Nashville, Tennessee, or Detroit, or Florida, there's 20 markets within that market. High-end, low-end, middle, and they move differently. So we want to think there's a market. There is no market. Like the stock market, low cap, high tech, international, they move differently, generally.
Right.
But all you have to do is a deal. In America, during the height of the market, there were 6.2 million residential real estate transactions. Even when it was low, there's still 5.5 million residential real estate transactions every year in America. All you have to do is 2, 3, 4, 10, 30 of them, or 40 of them, the right deal to make money. You're an investor, I'm an investor, we're not speculators. We don't do markets, we do deals.
Yeah. What other tips you can give to our investors?
Number one, what holds all investors back, including me, is fear. We think, worry, wonder, analyze, and we usually miss tens of twenties of thousands of dollars of profit. In my own market, it took me a year and a half to make an offer or do a deal, and I look back and I literally wasted hundreds of thousands of dollars. So, get started. That's number one. Number two, just like you make yourself comfortable here in an area, take your time, look at the deal, look at what's selling, look at the houses, look at the cash flow, and very quickly you can become an expert in that market. Number three, short term, you can get in and get out of a property. You're not affected by the market. You buy something, fix it, and sell it.
Right.
Or, and I know you do this, you can buy and hold and rent things, and the rents are much greater than the expenses. You're making money. You buy it right, and on that deal you're going to make money, especially over the long term, if you buy it correctly and have good cash flow and have good management. Look at the alternatives. The bank, 1%, 2%, 3%.
Nothing.
Stock market's done very well, but even the funds don't do as well as the stock market, the experts, correct?
Right.
And over time, the right deal in real estate, because of the appreciation, depreciation, tax advantages, the ability to leverage, to borrow money, to put money together, if you get the right deal, you're always going to have a good return. I love this statistic. 75-80% of the multimillionaires in almost every country are multimillionaires because of real estate. And the question is how much does somebody want?
Yeah, that's right. When I was in Detroit, I saw places. As you said, in Detroit, there is pockets of good neighbors, and there is pockets of terrible, horrible neighbors. But I think if you have a lot of money, a really lot of money that you don't have anything to do with it, and you buy those houses,
yeah,
in 20 to 30 years, you could be a multimillionaire.
Right. And what happened to me, I thought it'd be 20, 30 years, and sometimes it's 5, 7, or 8 years.
Yeah, this is the good places.
Yeah.
To be.
And Tel Aviv is one of the best cities in the world, but for the price of 2 apartments in Tel Aviv, you can buy 2 blocks.
That's right.
A whole neighborhood almost in parts of Detroit, and great cash flow.
Okay, I think it's a good idea to sell houses here in Tel Aviv and come to invest with me in Detroit, and we can make a lot of money together. So, רוברט, thank you very much.
Thank
you. It was
you.
a pleasure to guest you, to ask you questions. to hear from your wisdom.
Thank you. Always great to see you.
It was great to see you.
Toda rabah.
Hope to see you soon again.
Keep up the good work.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Shalom.